Hi, this is John Martinez. My company trains salespeople and sales teams across the country. We've been doing so for a very long time now. And one of the first things we do when training a sales team is we need to make sure that the right people are actually on the sales team, or we're asked for help hiring. We give some tips and stuff, even though most of what we do is the training piece of it. But I want to point out one big mistake that a lot of business owners and a lot of companies are making when they hire salespeople. What they do is they look for who they think a good salesperson should be, or the person they think is that quintessential kind of stereotypical salesperson, which is that really enthusiastic, over the top person, people, right? Those who can make friends with anybody, those who are the life of the party. That's who we think of as a salesperson, but the truth of the matter is these are actually sometimes, not always, but sometimes the worst salespeople. And here's the reason why. Let's think about people. We all know them. I'm not one, but I've got friends who are. My wife is holding the camera right now that she is one of them. And let's think about what makes them people. Well, number one, they like to make people happy, right? They want to keep them in a good mood. They're people because people like to be around them. So what does that mean? Well, what that means is, what are you not doing if you're trying to keep someone happy? You're probably not going deep with personal questions. You're probably not asking questions that make them uncomfortable. In other words, you're not asking the questions that make great salespeople great, right? They're not probing. They're just staying surface level and very cordial and that type of thing. So they're not asking the right questions. What else makes people the way they are? Now, the second reason why people are great salespeople usually is kind of like the first reason. They talk a lot. Usually they don't stop talking. And if they don't stop talking, what's not happening? Well, the prospect's not talking, right? So when you add these two things up, they're not asking the right questions and the prospect's not talking, you do not have the ingredients for a good sales call. Because when you look at what makes the best salespeople in the world, we know they only talk 10-15% of the time, and when they do, they're asking questions, and these are the two things that people are not doing. And if you want proof of this, you can look at someone like Grant Cardone, who a lot of people really look at as being a sales expert. Now, when you look at someone like Grant Cardone, I think he's a marketing genius, and he does have a lot of success with sales, obviously. I do think he does a lot wrong with sales. I think he's too pushy, puts too much pressure on prospects. Just because of different research we've seen, we know that leads to less sales. But even if he does some of the stuff wrong, why is he so successful? Well, you can't blame him for being a people person, right? He's very in your face. He's pretty abrasive. Many people don't like his personality. But that being said, he asks the right questions. He gets to the truth. He's not afraid of people not liking him. And you can never fault him for that, right? He is not the type of person who is very careful not to hurt your feelings. And because of that, he has those two qualities. He goes deep. He's not afraid to go deep and ask the right questions. And whenever he does ask those questions, if you watch him, you can see that he shuts up and he lets the person answer. So even if I think that a lot of what he does, a lot of his sales process is incorrect, because he does those things so dang well, he gets really good results. So if you found yourself in the situation where you're struggling to find the right salespeople, you should probably sit back and ask, am I trying to hire just the stereotypical salesperson because they're enthusiastic and they seem to be jolly and talk to everyone? Or am I hiring the right person who will ask questions, ask the right questions, and then sit back and listen to the answers? If you think about that, it might help you with your next hire, and it might help you build a better sales team. If you thought this was useful and you think someone else might find it useful as well, please go ahead and share it with them.